Today I wanted to talk again about StarMech because we have some exciting news which I wanted to share with you in this video. And we of course also want to do some calculations on how profitable our gaming nodes currently are. We are now in tier 5 of the node sale. Around 20% of the overall node supply has been purchased yet. And I want to show you exactly based on some numbers which competitors had, how much those nodes are generating on a daily basis for you. Before we get into all of that, if you never heard about StarMech, this is a new gaming project on Avalanche and already created 2 videos about the project. One where I explained what StarMech is exactly doing, and a second one how you can set up your gaming node if you purchased one. So watch these videos if you need some more in-depth information. Let's get into the news I wanted to share with you in this video. The first news which we had here this week is the acquisition which the StarMech team did, and they purchased the so-called Bombos Studio, which is a Web3 game developer studio which already had millions of downloads for their gaming titles and will now be integrated into the development of StarMech and also StarMech. Then there is another exciting announcement because they now have a partnership with one of the biggest meme communities on the Avalanche blockchain called Gecko Inu. Token is currently doing very well, is sitting at 18 million market cap. And those are of course a lot more eye pairs which are now on StarMech, which might want to purchase those nodes. So they have 23,000 followers on Twitter here, and the community is very active, as you can see on all those Twitter posts. Then the last one which I wanted to share with you is the recent repost from Avalanche Gaming. So we now also see the backing from the Avalanche Foundation as well as from the Avalanche Gaming Twitter, which is of course great to see and gives it basically an approved stamp that a solid team is behind StarMech. And there's another announcement which I can't front run yet, so I also don't want it to leak it. I just wanted to give you one word because they will post it this week, and this word is funding. And yeah, you might be very excited once you hear about that, but more in an upcoming videos, or just follow the StarMech Twitter page and you will be up to date with everything that's going on in the project. And the last new thing which I wanted to show in this video before we get into the ROI calculation is that their application is now live, where you can farm for their in-game token called Mech. So if you purchase those nodes, you generate the STA token, which is the governance token for the project. Here you can now already farm for the in-game token, which has an unlimited supply by, for example, just doing the quests which they provide here. For example, I already did some of them. That's where I already earned 31 Mech token, and I still have some available. So for example, there's a daily check-in which you can do to earn tokens, and all these other quests which will come on a daily basis. You just want to log in with your wallet here. You need an invite code, which you can find down in the description box. Market, for example, and profile is not really much to do yet, but I just wanted to let you know that you can already start accumulating the so-called Mech token here. So let's get into the ROI calculation, what those node rewards are currently potentially worth, and what the launch valuation and everything of this project will be. Therefore, we of course have to take a look into their white paper. And here we can see that there will just a maximum supply of 200,000 tokens. So combine the STA token as well as the NDSTA token, which is basically the node reward token, which can later on be converted one-to-one in the STA token. And this is a very low supply compared to other node projects. So the token will be worth at least 3 figures once it launches, at least from my estimation here. And we can also see, if we open this graphic down here, that currently, as long as the supply is below 100,000, which it still is because not that much nodes have been purchased yet, around 10 to 11k nodes in tier 5 right now, we will get 136 tokens emission on a daily basis. So all people that are currently running nodes share these rewards on a daily basis. And the higher the supply gets, the less daily emissions those nodes will have. So let's dive into some numbers here. You can now see my node dashboard. I currently have 13 node keys and they produce me around 0.0125 NDSTA tokens per day per node. And all in all, because I run those nodes now for almost 12 days, I accumulated around 3.05 NDSTA tokens. And if we now expect this project, which will have its TGE and the full launch of the platform in April, to have a launch valuation of around 10 million US dollars, which in my opinion is still conservative. So we just want to type that into our calculator, and we expect a starting supply, which is usually between 10 and 20%. So we now say the starting supply will be at 20%, which would mean 40,000 token, because the overall token supply is 200k. We want to divide this by those 40k tokens, which would mean one token would be valued at around $250 at launch. And if we now take a look at the current prices for those nodes, which you can still get, for example, you just come over to the Star Node Key dashboard, you can purchase them with AVAX on the Avalanche blockchain or with Ethereum on the Arbitrum blockchain. And if you add a promo code, mine in this case is DDD, you can apply this and then your node just costs you 0.0639. If we calculate that on the current Ethereum price, we can see that this is around $228. So if we come back to our node dashboard, our ROI in this case for one node would be $228. That would mean if we take those $228 and divide them by a starting price of $250, we would need 0.912 NDSTA tokens to be ROI'd, which at the current rate, which I'm getting per 24 hours, so if we just divide this by those 0.0125, that would lead us for an ROI in roughly 73 days for one node here in this case. Of course, I have to mention those node rewards will go down over time, because as more and more nodes get purchased and will be run by those people, the node rewards will be splitted between all those node runners. But at the current rate, you would be ROI'd after 73 days. And what we can also calculate here, for example, if we again take the starting price of around $250 and multiply that by our 24-hour rewards, that would mean that we currently accumulate around $3 per day per node. So that's our current ROI, which is also pretty solid for such kind of a project. So these are the current estimated numbers. If we launch at a $20 million valuation and just 10% of the supply, your ROI would be of course reached way faster. Then we would talk about around $6 to $12 per day, which those nodes accumulate. But this is of course just an estimation. I took the conservative numbers here in this case. So if you're still thinking about purchasing those nodes, I can just tell you, the earlier to purchase them, the more rewards you will get and the more lucrative they will be, because with every tier, the price of those nodes will be increasing and you get less node rewards because those node rewards will be split between all the node runners. I hope that now gave you a good overview what's currently going on in StarMech, how profitable those nodes potentially are. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below this video. And if you don't want to miss future content on StarMech, which I release on a daily basis, so at least such kind of projects, then you might also want to subscribe to my channel. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you in my next one.